Hi, everybody. Welcome and thank you for joining us for this self-directed IRA Saturday. My name is Zach Wilson. I'm one of the IRA specialists here at Quest Trust Company. So before we get started, got to give you the disclaimer. Everything that you're about to see here is for your educational purposes only. It's really important to understand the role that Quest will play when it comes to you and your retirement investing using your self-directed IRA with us. We're really here to offer as many resources and as much education as we possibly can, as well as facilitate just about any type of transaction that you want to do within your self-directed IRA. Now, with that being said, Quest doesn't offer any sort of tax, legal, or investment advice, nor do we endorse any specific investment. So really, we're here to be used as a form, as like I said, that source of education. That way, you can feel comfortable with the investment you're looking to make. So, for those of you who don't know us, we are Quest Trust Company. We're the largest self-directed IRA custodian in the state of Texas. We have roughly 20,000 active investor clients all across the country. We have just over 2.7 billion in assets under administration, and we have over 100 employees, 36 of which are certified IRA service professionals. So what does that mean? Right? It means that when you call, you're going to get a Quest employee who's going to answer the phone and be able to answer just about any question that you would have. And if you want to take a deep dive into the real nitty gritty nuanced stuff, you have a certified IRA service professional there to take that dive with you. Also, as it stands right now, we have around $400 million in undirected cash at any given point in our clients' accounts. That's undirected cash, right? That represents opportunity. Whether you're a Quest client who's part of that pool of funds, or you're an investor who needs capital to get their deals done, that is where your opportunity lies. But before you make any investment at all, the first step is always going to be to educate yourself. So utilize us, guys. Take a look at our education center. Take a look at our YouTube channel. We have tons and tons of videos talking about just about every aspect of alternative asset investing, specifically when it comes to IRAs. Right. We even have stuff updating on new legislation, such as the Secure Act 2.0 that just passed. Right. It's very important that you guys understand the impact that that's going to have on your retirement accounts. Right now, it affects traditional and Roth IRAs, right? But it also affects people who are self-employed, have those SEP and simple IRAs. For example, now, if you're that self-employed individual with that SEP or simple, you can now make post-tax contributions to those SEP and simple accounts. Right, that's a huge change that allows you to get the post-tax funds and still take advantage of the higher contribution limits that come with those employer plans. So you make sure you go check out that Secure Act 2.0 video to get updated on all the new rules. All right. Then once you have that full education, you're comfortable in the investment you're looking to make, then next step is going to be networking, right? Because the deal's not going to make itself happen. So you got to go out there and you've got to start talking to people who are looking to help you out. Take advantage of our Tuesdays and Saturday classes like you're doing right now, right? Come join us for our virtual networking happy hour on the fourth Wednesday of every month, right? Sorry about that, guys. I got a dog in the background. We also our most common socials are going to be our self-directed IRA socials on the first, second, and third Tuesday of every month. All right, that's going to be in Houston, Austin, and Dallas, respectively. Starts at 6:30, and you get to come out, network for about 30 minutes. Then after that, we're going to have a presenter come out and present for about 45 minutes to an hour. All right, it's going to be a different topic every single time, so you're going to have a chance to learn something new. Right. Also, after that, we allow more networking, and we even brought back deal pitching. So if you have a deal that you're looking to raise capital on, or if you just simply, you're part of that pool of funds and you need to lend out, you're looking to lend out, come check out our socials and get in front of everybody so you can make those deals happen. All right, guys. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to our IRA specialist team. We'd be happy to help out. But without further ado, I would like to bring out someone he's going to be addressing a part of the alternative asset investing that I don't think is covered very often, right? He's going to talk about that private entity investments and how to go about adding 3 to 5 times on your selling multiple. So without further ado, Abhi Golhar is here to tell us about that. Abhi, you there?
Hey guys, thanks so much. Zach, you're awesome, dude. I appreciate the little intro, and I'm excited just to have the conversation, whether it's formally or informally, with the folks here, and about private direct investments. Just to be very abundantly clear, I don't have a fund. I'm not selling anything. Really, just educating y'all that are interested in maybe maximizing your money, investing it in a business where you could see that money fly maybe a little better, maybe a little more aggressively than a real estate investment would. So I'm excited to have the conversation. Happy to kick it off. My
Oh, yeah, it looks like
Is
there's a
that not
little
working?
bit. Yeah, it's like there's a little bit of feedback coming through
It's all right.
those
See, now we get to
AirPods.
use the techie headphones I was telling you about. So
Yeah.
hold on, hang out here 1 second.
Oh, now we're getting that beep. Bear with us, guys. 1 second. You know, it never happens until we go live. All right, you'll have to switch. You have to switch the audio. It's just like get out of a bad beep. All right, bear with us, guys. We're gonna figure this out real quick.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep. All right, we're good to go. You hear us? We can hear you.
1 second, guys. Sorry about this.
We can hear you. Oh, wait, just lost it.
Okay, is this better?
Yep, we can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
All right, there we go.
If we're good, then we're good. Because I can't hear you guys. So we're just going to roll. It's all right.
Yeah, we're going to do
I've
it.
done this before. So, again, I look like the now crazy tech nerd who's supposed to have his data and tech all squared away. But wow, that was a big...
Right. 4 or 5 screens behind you, too, all the different graphs up.
Yeah. No, we're good. All right. So the conversation that I'm interested in having with you guys is one where you can really maximize that dollar. I have a self-directed IRA. And anytime I take a look at opportunities for my money, I look at 2 different components. The first is investing in businesses. The second is investing in real estate. That's just what I do personally. That's not what I'm suggesting that you have to do. But if you are doing it, if you are taking a look at, Irma, is it still not clear? Sorry, it looks like we're having... Hey, Zach, can you jump back in? Is my audio still not clear for you guys?
It's coming through. It's not as higher quality, but it's coming through. Yeah, there's a little bit of an echo, but I mean, it's if you know, it's either
I can jump on my laptop. Is that better? I know, Richard. Funny enough, I do have an extended mic, and I just took my entire podcast setup down because I'm like, I don't need this right now. Cool. How about this? How about if we just hit pause? I'm going to go get my laptop, and I'll be right back in a second.
All right, sounds good.
All right, cool.
All right, guys. So in the meantime, I guess let's talk about Secure Act, right? So while we kind of wait for Abhi to get set up, like I said, it's important to understand kind of the impact that the Secure Act had when it passed. So it did pass just before the end of the year, which unfortunately means we as a custodian and other custodians across the country are going to have to kind of scramble to get our systems updated, right? So while the changes are going to be immediately available, the custodian that you're with is going to need a little bit of time. All right, so just bear with us while we get our systems updated to reflect the changes. First thing is the change in the RMD age, right? So a couple of years ago, the RMD age went from 70 and a half bumped up to 72. All right. So what we've got now is that the RMD age is now going to bump up to 73. Oh, it's good. All right, clear. All right, good. Just making sure we're clear. So RMD age is going to bump up 73. If you turned 72 last year, you still have to take your first RMD by April 1st this year. But moving forward, if you turn 73, now that's the new age going forward. In 2024 or 2025, it's going to bump up to 74 as well. All right. I'm just going to get 1 second. We probably pull up this presentation. Also, like I said, the SEP and Simples now have the ability to have Roth funds deposited into them, right? So if you want to take advantage of those higher contribution limits, but you're always struggling with the Roth, with the pre-tax portion, wanting your funds to be post-tax, Now you don't have to do that Roth conversion, right? So you don't have to take that big tax hit up front to get those funds from that pre-tax account to that post-tax. You can now make your post-tax contributions directly to those accounts. All right, so that means you might have multiple accounts. You may have multiple SEPs, one with pre-tax, one with post-tax. So it's going to become very important to keep track of all that. All right, Abhi, are you back? I'll give him 1 second. Regarding in-plan conversions, right? If you have funds that are currently pre-tax sitting in those separate simple IRAs and you need to get them to the Roth portion, it's still a little unclear. We're still trying to figure that out, right? We're looking at the language of the bill to see exactly what's going on, to see if they are going to allow those in-plan conversions. All right, let's see. All right, Abhi.
Are we back? Are we
We're
good?
back. We're good. It's coming out clear.
Good stuff. All right, thanks, guys. I really appreciate the minute or two. I know we're 11 minutes delayed, but I'll make it up to you. So I did not know that about RMDs. That's really good to hear.
Yeah, it's pushing it back, and it's gonna keep going. It's gonna keep being pushed back.
Here's another question. Let's say I have a Roth 401k.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I have a Roth 401k and I roll that over into a self-directed Roth 401k. Is it true that I can remove my RMD requirement if I roll that into a Roth IRA?
Right. Yeah. So that's true. Once they're in the Roth IRA, they're no longer subject put to the RMDs, but you're not even going to have to do that anymore. One of the new changes with the Secure Act 2.0 is that the Roth funds sitting in a 401k are now no longer subject to RMDs.
No way.
Yeah. So you get now, if you've got just Roth funds sitting in a solo 401k, they're not subject to RMDs. Now, I think that kicks in. I think that kicks in 2024, if I'm not mistaken. So I think you still have to do it for 2023, but 2024, I think it removes the RMD requirement on those Roth portions.
Dude, that actually changes the game for me a little bit. Holy cow.
Now you can have a solely Roth solo 401k.
Nice. Okay, cool. I think Irma has a question about RMB, but I can answer that. Just let me get through some of this stuff for you guys. All right, cool. So out of show of hands, maybe in the comment section, how many of you are currently maybe investing as using your money in your IRA as a private money lender, or you're investing in real estate as a result with the capital in your IRA? Just real quick. And while you're answering that, my hope today for you guys is to get to a point where you can also maybe consider investing in a business the way that I do. Again, like, I'm not here to sell anything, really here to educate. I love Quest, love the family. I had the honor of emceeing the Quest Expo, which was one of the best times of my life. And I really wanted to continue to give to the Quest family. So this presentation today is kind of my thesis in understanding, one, if you put your money into a business or if you lend it to a business operator, how do you maximize your returns so you're not seeing your 8 to 10 to 12% that some of the LP the ROI that you might get generally from multifamily or single family operators, but you can get significantly higher returns. And again, these are all projected, these are all potential returns. I'm not saying that this is a guarantee of any kind, but you will see significantly higher above average returns on your money if you know the levers to pull in your business. And that's something that I want to talk about today. Essentially, if you lend your money to a business owner, how can you add the 3 to 5x to your selling multiple? Okay, now every business has generally 3 different components, 3 factors that contribute to valuation. The first is revenue. A lot of folks, if you have your own business and you've done really well and you understand how to operate and run that entrepreneurial side of your world, you know that sales marketing equals revenue. The more sales, the more marketing you have, you're taking down more revenue, which is great. But that's not the only factor to a business valuation. Second is EBITDA, the earning before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization. And then, of course, third, the multiple, the multiple at which your business is valued on EBITDA or on revenue. So, for example, Tesla will, or if you have a startup, I'll get the Tesla example a little later. Let's say you have a startup and you have a technology startup. Your technology startup generally, fingers crossed, if you do it right and you see 40 to 50 to 60% year-over-year growth, you will see a revenue multiple because the VCs will value the growth, the revenue spike instead of EBITDA. as your business matures a little bit, you will see an EBITDA multiple. And essentially that means you have some number, 4, 5, 6, 7x on the revenue, which will increase, which gives you a revenue-based valuation or an EBITDA value-based valuation. These are the three contributing factors as it relates to growing and valuing a business. Why should you care? You're like, Abhi, well, I don't care about this. Like, why does this matter to me? Well, it matters to you because when you're looking at lending your money to a business operator and a business owner, you need to know that their sales and marketing are on deck and they're on point. So you've got, Richard, good question. So you have their sales and marketing on point, and the efficiency metric is EBITDA. Now, that's how efficient your business is being, or their business is being. And last but not least, if they have a little technology component that they're building in their business to help them grow and scale, that really accelerates the multiple. So for example, if you have a roofing company, your roofing company multiple, it will generally be on EBITDA, and you'll generally get between 3 to 5, 6x on that multiple on your EBITDA. However, if you built a little technology in your business, then that multiple can jump just like you would rehab a house. That multiple can jump from, say, 4x on EBITDA to maybe 8 or 9x on EBITDA. And if your revenue grows beyond $10 million, your multiple increases by a factor of 1 or 2x anyway. So this is just to give you an understanding of, one, how business valuation works, but then number two, how your money can see massive growth, right? And so, for example, let me give you an example here. I have a Roth 401k, and the funds I use inside of my Roth 401k, I'll go invest in a business. Okay, I'm not taking any active role in the business because that's a passive investment for me. However, I will take a look at the business and say, oh, well, maybe we could do this and that and the other, or maybe you can go do this and that and the other. Or maybe here are some of the issues and spots that I see as a passive investor. I'm not actively in the business making these adjustments. And let's say they make some adjustments, and let's say they're able to, the business owner is able to really magnify that revenue and also magnify EBITDA. What ultimately happens is the 100,000 or the 150 or the 200,000 or the $500,000 I've invested in that business, I see that multiple as well. And that'll get kicked directly into my Roth 401k. That's massive. That's why I love business. And then if I'm feeling bored, no offense to the real estate folks in the room, I know we have a realtor from Colorado with us as well, Ashley Madden. Holy cow, your last name's Madden? Like Madden, like Coach Madden? If that is, I'm flying to you right now to get like some memorabilia. Okay. Nonetheless, so this is my strategy. I'll take the winnings from then the business that is held in. Really? Oh, okay. I'm coming over to you. We've got to talk. I'm going to give you my email in a second. So I'm going to take all the winnings from my business and I'm going to push them into a real estate deal that I find that makes sense. Again, I'm not actively managing them, but let's say I have a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 windfall in my business exit as a result of this individual running the business. Then and only then will I then go buy a piece of real estate or go invest in it as an LP in a multifamily operator. Like, you should be going to the Quest Expos to go find the operators that need the money because you've made a lot of money from the businesses you're investing in. That's my thesis. There are a lot of folks that will say, well, you should do something else. You should just go invest as an LP in a multifamily deal or self-storage, et cetera. I think real estate's far too slow for that. I think you see a lot of strength in real estate deals because it's backed by hard asset. You have the hard, you've got a hard asset that you can securitize. In the business, it's a little different. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But what you have in business, you don't have in real estate. You have data, and that data is so valuable. And I'll show you an example of that in a little bit. Ashley, okay, that's hilarious. Your husband's name's John Madden. Okay, Zach, I don't even know what to do right now. Can we just end this so I can go hang out with Ashley and her? That's hilarious to me.
Let them know you're hanging out with John Madden. That's all I get. Don't give any details. Just say you're hanging out with John Madden.
That's exactly it. I'm going to go live and I'm just, maybe we can get a cutout of John Madden's face and just like, maybe that's like the little mask thing we can do. All right. So here's my thesis. We talked about the 3 contributing factors to valuation in a business. Now, if you are lending your money to a business operator, either in a debt structure, equity structure, or a little bit of both, then you want to make sure as you're paying attention to the reports you get back from the business, the 10 things that the business owner needs to be doing to ensure that the business does well, so you get to multiply your ROI. The first is building an adequate team. This is very easy. This is very self-explanatory. However, in a business, you have a couple of stages of that business. You have a business startup stage, growth stage, maturity stage, and decline. In the startup stage, sometimes they might not be hitting revenue yet. They might not have their entire team tweaked out. That should be a red flag. You want to run away from that business as fast as you can, unless you're in the venture angel game, which I am not. I'm not a big fan of the venture angel game. This means I have to make, 50 investments of $50,000 or $60,000, and maybe one will hit in the next 3 to 5 years, depending on how well they're doing. I don't like to play by those rules, and that's way too risky for me. But if you have a growth stage company that's been in business for the last maybe 4 or 5 or 6 years, and they're starting to see additional scale because they're using technology to their benefit, and they have the right CFO, they have the makings of a good CEO, they've brought on COOs, they've brought on the right project leads and the project managers and sales managers, and you're starting to see them modify their marketing budget accordingly, you have opportunity. You have opportunity. Richard, yeah, I mean, you're right about the potential multiples. I don't think it's potential multiples. You can absolutely force the multiple. I think saying potential multiples in a business is like saying potential opportunity to increase valuation in a real estate deal. You can do it incorrectly as well, but in the business, you have more levers, and these levers multiply and maximize the return on dollar. So again, I'm not saying don't invest in real estate. I'm just saying invest in real estate potentially as a secondary vehicle to your primary business vehicle first, which is something that everybody here should consider. So step number one is build your team. Step number 2, understand what your acquisition target is. Now, this is a little different. Let me explain what I mean. If you invest in a business and the business wants to increase its revenue and you want to increase its operating capacity, what will you generally do to that business? Out of curiosity, let me know what you think in the comments. If I have a business and I want to increase revenue, how would you expect me as a business operator? Let's say you're lending me money. Again, you're not, but let's assume that you're lending somebody money to operate their business, and I'm that business operator. You're lending me money to operate the business. How would you expect me to increase revenue and increase profitability? It's a good question. I'll let you guys mull on that just for 30 seconds while I go hang out with my buddy John Madden over here. Okay. Alan says marketing. Cool. Product promotion. All right. Neat. So generally that's on the revenue side, right? 100% of the revenue side. What if that business also started acquiring other businesses? That also would yield a revenue bump, right? So let's say we've got a business that's doing $2 or $3 or $4 or $5 million a year in top line revenue, and their gross margin is, call it 20%. So their gross margin is about $1 million a year on 5 million top line revenue. They can go acquire other businesses, whether it's a bolt-on business or if it's a business in a potential revenue stream they're going to build anyway. And now that 5 million top line revenue, then you add maybe another $1 million or 2 or 3 in top line revenue, depending on the business that you're buying. So what you want to know from that business owner, and I've done this multiple times, and I see these types of deals all the time, because the businesses I will invest in, I want to make sure, 1, there's plenty of runway, and number 2, there's always some type of growth through acquisition model built into the business that the business owner is aware of. So that's very, very important. It's not just building multiple streams of income inside of a business that you have to do yourself. You can also go buy it. And that's a really, really big deal. enter the private equity LBO leveraged buyout space. So step two, the question that you should be asking is, hey, what are your acquisition targets? If you as a roofer are only in roofing, are you losing landscaping? Are you losing driveway services? Are you losing HVAC? Because if I, as a roofer, created an ecosystem around all of the other real estate services companies, I'm not only increasing revenue, and once I hit 10 million in revenue, my EBIT, my selling multiple increases because the private equity groups of the world will see a higher valuation for me because I'm operating at a $10 million a year revenue target. Does that make sense? Cool. Lisa, you're right. Decrease overhead and add clients. That's another good way to increase profitability for sure. But so is acquiring, which I think is phenomenal. And that is what multiplies your money, right? We talk about multiplying money here. Where are we? Right here. We talk about multiplying revenue, multiplying your money. If you invest $100,000 into a business owner and they increase revenue and they decrease EBITDA, which is what Lisa is saying, hey, let's increase marketing, let's decrease operational costs, but still maintain output. My multiple will increase, but only slightly. But let's say I have 2 or 3 or 4 more of these circles that become this bigger circle with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other businesses that are bolted onto this business over a 10-year time frame. The $100,000 or the $200,000 I invest from the onset into this business multiplies in value. And that's where you see some massive scale. All right. Number 3 here, well, not number 3 yet. So when I'm looking at an acquisition target, I clearly don't know how to spell acquisition, so please ignore that. The one thing I want to know is what is their USP, their unique selling proposition? And number 2, to Lisa's point, expenses. What are they? Why do they exist? And I want a complete P&L breakdown. And I'm happy to share an example a little later when we get into that, but I want to make sure we keep going through these steps. Revenue. Are we on Google ads, Facebook ads? Are we only using paid ads as a form of revenue generation and eyeball generation, which is a big losing battle in my opinion? And are we focusing on the right things on the expenses side, on the P&L side, to reduce overall expenses but still maintain that margin? Those are very, very, very important. I think, Richard, to your point, it's harder to see or compel the business owners complying with your suggestions or growth model. I'll push back on you a little bit on that also and say, if you get regular bank statements to review as an investor, as a passive investor, and or you can look right into the QuickBooks P&L and do a P&L download, then it's an academic exercise in do you know how to read a P&L? And take a look at increase or decrease changes on those expense lines to ensure that that business is on track and your money is working super hard for you. And at the end of the day too, keep in mind, if you're also buying a business, like your self-directed account can invest in a business that's already performing. That's the idea. You're already performing, and that business over a period of time, you get quarterly distributions. You can get monthly distributions right into your Roth 401k. That's a big deal. Or your Roth IRA, even better. Right? You talk about how Mitt Romney ended up with $100 million in his IRA. It's a self-directed IRA, baby. That's one of the ways he did it. It's massive. So nonetheless, step number 3, how can you lose? One of the other limiting factors that I used to have when I was starting businesses is not addressing this. I never thought about losing money, or I never thought about losing in the business. How do I lose? How is my business going to suffer? There's a plan for that. Does the business owner that you're investing in have a plan for if the business suffers? Again, I've invested in a lot of LPs on the multifamily side as well. The considerations are the exact same, aren't they? Hey, here's why we will not get 95, 96% occupancy. What happens if we lose from 96 to 80% or 70% occupancy? What are the contingencies? Do we have a flexible lender that will work with us? If I'm in a high crime area, will the local police department be okay with the concession for a unit and park their car outside so we decrease crime? Right? These are all worst case scenario ideas that I have in my head that you, of course, have in your head as real estate investors when you look at a piece of real estate. The same thing occurs in a business. As long as you understand the levers you got to pull, that will help increase the maximization of your money and that return. Step number 4, the mitigation strategy for each potential risk. So for all the risks that you've identified, what's the mitigation strategy? What is the business owner suggesting that the mitigation strategy is if let's say tomorrow their Google Ads account stopped working, or tomorrow their website just completely crashed, or tomorrow their data sources or wherever they're pulling their information in just completely took a dump, right? These are all things that we've got to consider as investors in a business before we place our money into that business as an investment. Think about this. As we
Oh, looks like we lost him. I think it's everything. We lost. Yeah, we lost the stream and we lost the PowerPoint he had shared to it. He might have might have cut out. Oh, we're back. Hey, Abhi. All right, we're back. All right, there we go.
All right, cool, guys. This is what happens, right? Like we were just talking about contingencies, and we were talking about the worst case scenario. I think my laptop just died, so there we go. When I take a look at a business, however, one of the things that I absolutely want to do is make sure that the mitigation strategies are flawless. And if they are not outlined properly, I'm not going to put my money at risk at all. All right, number 5. Who's your number 2? I've come across this. I've spoken now in front of, I don't know, every year I probably train 25 to 30,000 real estate agents and business investors on major national stages. And one of the times that I polled the audience and I said, hey, how many of you are in the center of your business? How many of you own a business and you're the go-to person for all things in your business? About 80% of the room, about 1,500 people raised their hand. That to me is risky. That is a major risk. At least in real estate, you don't have that. If you're a self-storage, that's pretty much all AI and you have nobody there if you don't want them to. That's mailbox money to me. In a business, however, it's a different story. There has to be a second in command. There has to be somebody that will take the reins on the off chance, one, that business owner is incapable of running the business, day-to-day operations. And number 2, it's my belief that we think that we want to start a business and be the main person in the business for the long term. But unfortunately, what ends up happening is we'll say, I don't think I've built a business 40 years later. I've built a job for myself, not a business for myself. That's something you should also pay attention to. What kind of mindset does this business operator have going into the business? Are they looking to draw all the eyes on themselves? And do they want to be the ultimate decision maker on a regular basis? Or how much duplication training is there offered in the business to help this individual get out of the business in a worst case scenario? Who is that number 2? Who is that second in command is a very, very, very big deal. Step number 6, the growth strategy for your target. So going back to the acquisition model, the growth through acquisition model. What is the growth strategy for the business that we're going to acquire? The roofing example we were talking about, if I have a roofing company and I'm doing well, maybe I'm doing 2 or 3 or 4 million top line revenue every single year. The challenge isn't how many additional companies can we buy. The challenge is the one next company we buy, let's say it's landscaping. How do we integrate both landscaping and roofing? How do we have one voice? How do we have one brand? And how do we really make sure those customers feel like they're heard? And if the customers feel like they're heard, the growth automatically happens, right? So for example, how many of you here have like a favorite dentist? You love your dentist. You're like, oh my God, I'm willing to tell anybody and everybody about my dentist because he or she is just amazing. The way that you feel about your dentist, the way that you feel about any brand you're passionate about is the emotion that the acquisition target company needs to also feel about that process, about the acquisition process. So it's not just their customers, it's also the acquisition target feeling that way about going into that deal. Does that make sense? I hope I'm not overcomplicating it. So you've got company A and you've got company B. Company B needs to feel the same way about this marriage to company A as the customers of all companies. The growth strategy there then becomes defined beautifully, because now I know, one, who the customers are, exactly what they need. All the funnels can be designed for them because there's clear communication on how to work together. And that's a really big deal. Step number 6. Step number 7, company B, this landscaping company, understanding their culture. You as an investor need to make sure, your business owner, that your capital is not ever put at risk because culture is ever in question. How many times have you heard somebody leaving their boss, leaving their company because of culture, because they hated their boss, they hated where they worked, the coworkers sucked, it's just a terrible place to work? That's a challenge. And even when you're investing your hard-earned cash into a business, understanding that team's culture is the most important thing. Culture trumps everything. Okay, not getting political at all. It's culture over everything. There we go. All right, culture over everything. Culture matters. You can have the best product in the world. You could absolutely crush it from a Google Ads eyeballs capturing methodology with a CRM. But if your culture inside your organization, your people are not happy, your money will suffer. Your money is going to suffer. Just as if you had $100,000, you're going to put it into an LP position in a multifamily operator. If that multifamily operator had bad property management, what's going to happen to Google reviews for that multifamily apartment complex? It's going to suck, right? The tenants will say, yeah, 2 out of 5, 1.5 out of 5, the property management is terrible, etc. But the moment that you improve property management and everybody jives and gets on the same page, you'll start to see more positive reviews. And then you do a rebrand and, hey, we have a new company. Understanding culture is so important to this overall equation. You've got no idea. So understand the impact of culture. Step number 8, when you're looking at a growth through acquisition strategy, and even if you are investing your money in a business that's saying, hey, I'm a roofer, I'm going to go buy a landscaper, and that's the reason why I'm raising this cash. The integration with that target company is something you should pay attention to. How are they going to integrate? How are they going to blend? It's not just the P&L and the balance sheet and the cash flow statement that automatically blends. It's the internal processes to ensure that the customers of both companies now are taken care of, that the employees are taken care of. Do they have retirement funds that need to be moved in some capacity? Is there HR that needs to be considered? Is there some other kind of technology to help with this? There are a lot of small businesses. Like, America's built on small businesses, right? Small businesses in America have challenges understanding HR and payroll. It's not enough just to go to like an ADP and say, automate my payroll, because sometimes ADP sucks. You want to go to maybe another third-party provider like a Gusto. Gusto makes it very user-friendly and offers a chance for those employees to say, hey, I trust this company. So that integration plan between those two companies is really important. Again, zooming out for a second, I know I'm saying a lot of words, so let me just kind of zoom out for a second. Your money in this example, in this presentation, I'm asking you to think like a private equity investor. I'm asking you to think like an investor who's investing in a business, which is why I'm saying that over and over and over again, and making sure that that business is delivering what your money needs it to deliver. And if that business says, well, hey, I don't have the metrics, I don't have the team, I don't have a growth or acquisition strategy, I don't have a strategy to make sure my employees are happy, guess what happens? That company is going to fail. Right? How many times have you bought a stock without looking at like the 8K reports or the public reports that are available and sitting in on the investor calls? I bet many of you listening don't do that. I know I'm guilty of it. I haven't done that in a while because I also don't own any more individual stocks. But if I were to, I wouldn't just look at the price to earnings ratio and go to Google Newsfeed and type in the ticker symbol and say, ooh, the last 5 years of performance has increased over the last 5 years, and the line is looking up and to the right. I would get into the nitty gritty of the business and understand their holdings, who the management is, who leadership is, et cetera. That's a really, really big deal. Step number 9 here, Something to consider. What do the employees care about during the sale of their business? Going back to the example of I'm a company A acquiring company B. What do the employees of company B care about? What do the employees of company A care about? You'll find very quickly that there's a lot of fear and instability. Look at where we are in the economy right now. Tony Robbins, I saw an ad of Tony Robbins come up on my YouTube pre-roll ads, and he was talking about this economy of fear and what's happening, and it's very unstable, et cetera, et cetera. And many Americans, many small business owners are feeling that way. And maybe you're feeling that way. Maybe you're thinking, well, geez, I've got maybe $100,000 sitting in a checking account, another $150,000 sitting, earning 2% a year on my money, and I don't really know what to do with it. I'm not going to put it in the stock market, so I got to put it somewhere. Employees feel the same way anytime there's major rifts and major changes inside of their ecosystem, inside of their world. So something to consider, something to ask the business owner is, hey, do you have a plan for this? And understand your employees. You'll be surprised how many business owners don't really care about knowing how their employees are feeling. You'll also be surprised how many business owners don't do personality tests on their employees. That to me is really, really surprising. So before you give your money to a business operator, understand how much they know about their employees and what their employees will care about as they sell their business and as they acquire new ones. The last step here, again, in my private equity hat, my private equity space, is what technology can you use to scale further? The challenge, as you know, many business owners have, is understanding automation and understanding AI, and the fact that ChatGPT has gotten so much love over the last couple of weeks. I think they're worth now a couple of $1 billion already. ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, automation, all of these things can help business owners scale and grow their business. Unfortunately, many business owners are frightened by technology and by artificial intelligence. Guys, in America today, there are 10,000 baby boomers retiring every single day. 3,000 of those 10,000, so 30%, own small businesses. And today in America, there are only roughly about 4,000 to 5,000 business brokers across the United States. And you might be asking, well, geez, what does it take to become a business broker? Nothing. It's not a regulated industry. You could be a real estate agent, no offense to Ashley, but you could be a real estate agent, have your NMLS ID number, and also become a business broker. Many business brokers are also real estate agents. Why am I saying this? Businesses in America today, those that are looking to sell, are concerned about the selling process. They're concerned about new ownership, and they're concerned about technology and how technology is going to disrupt their old way of doing things. This presents a very unique opportunity for you, the private equity investor, for you, the person that's lending your money to a business owner or that's investing in a business and saying, hey, I can help make you win with a capital infusion, as long as you also understand or hire somebody with a technology background to help you grow and scale your business. I've used technology. I build technology to help my businesses grow and scale. This is what I do outside of presenting to you today. This is my world. I'll take my money, not my self-directed money, but I'll take my other money, my other capital, maybe raise some depending on what I need to do, and go buy a business and directly impact the bottom line of that business, the multiple, and the revenue. These three things that we talked about, including these 10 steps, can make you a investor who weaponizes their capital into a business and takes those distributions and profits and invests in real estate. This methodology that I'm describing to you is like your own pot of gold that constantly refills every time you wake up in the morning. There's no rainbow to a pot of gold. This is how you build it, right? And this is how you build it quickly. Owning a business, if you invest 100, 200, 300, whatever it is, and your self-directed Roth IRA is the one that is titled on that paperwork from a less than 20% ownership of the business, that's a big deal. Your distributions get put right back into here every single month because it's a performing business. That's the most powerful thing of it all. And then you're able to turn around and say, hey, I have 100,000, 50,000, 70,000 a year coming in from this business. Let me go ahead and now direct it into a private money lending fund, a limited partnership, multifamily, self-storage, single family rental, Airbnb, salmon farming. Yeah, don't laugh at me, Lisa. Salmon farming is a thing. I tried it once. I'm actually not very good at salmon farming. I'm 5'5" and 140 pounds of wet. Okay. Watching me trying to catch salmon is a joke. I don't even understand how to do that. But nonetheless, those are my 10 steps. If you are thinking about technology, there is a very specific development cycle in technology you should follow. Take a screenshot of this and I'll make sure the Quest team, if you're interested in these slides and if you want to connect about it after, I'm happy to kind of walk you through my methodology again. But if you're developing tech, something to look at are these steps in order to do so. So if you ever get a proposal or if your business owner gets a proposal and they're like, hey, can you look at this for me? Does this make any sense? There are 5 steps to any technology implementation plan that you need to be aware of. The first is discovery. All the ins and outs and all of the questions from that development team, they'll ask in order to build the tech. The second, wireframes. What does it look like in its very unsexy form? Third, alpha. Alpha is about 40 to 50% of functionality that's ready to be launched. Beta, anywhere between 70 to 80% of functionality has been developed. And then go live. When you hear the word go live, that means that the product, the software product, is ready for launch and ready for use by all users across what was built. So if you've got 2 or 3 or 4 different types of users on this platform, go live means, yep, everybody can use it and there are no errors. You will come across bugs and things like this, but that's typical. A good tech team will have that covered for the first 90 days. So again, I know I threw a lot at you. It's a little unconventional. We're taking a look at private equity and understanding how to affect a business's selling multiples so you maximize your dollar. And that's what I got for you guys. So shoot me an email if you'd like. Stay in touch. I'd love to have a conversation. I tried to do with the tech interruptions. Sorry about that. That's my fault. I'll take full responsibility of that. I'll stop using Cricket Wireless as my wireless carrier. So damn it. But feel free to ask some questions in the comments. Would love to connect and just show you how I'm doing it. There's no secret here for me. It's just a matter of these steps. And yeah, Victor, ChatGPT is really taking over. That's what I got. Oh, can I give an offer? Would that be okay? Like a free offer. So I'm building a course, and I'm not a guru that is selling courses. I don't really care about that. But one of my courses that I'm building now for small business owners is a course that I'm calling the Order of Operations. It will come with a book and you should see the curriculum. It's like this massive 8-hour curriculum. It talks about all the KPIs and the moves that you need to make as a startup stage business versus a maturity stage business versus a growth stage business, and how to look at things. What are some of the financial metrics you need to look at? So, Richard, to your point, it's a lot of levers to look at, but once you understand these levers, your $100,000 or your $50,000 or your $25,000 that you invest into this business can really crank, and it can really work. It can really work. It can really work. I will refrain from saying ROI numbers on this call. I'm happy to take that offline with you guys, but I'm here for questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Abhi. So there was the one, Richard threw in a message in there. Let's put it up on the screen so everyone can see it. It says, coming in as a lender would seem more difficult to change things like the culture, hiring, marketing, operations, especially getting a current owner to accept that the sale or merger is part of the loan. Do you want to go ahead and address that one, tackle that?
Yeah, for sure. So coming in as a lender would be more difficult to change. Sure. I mean, you by default, if you're investing through your IRA, you are a passive investor, right? So you have to vet that business owner and make sure they're on the same page as you are when it comes to growth. And the fact that, hey, you can have a clause in there with accelerated payback if they're not doing what was agreed to. That's what I'll say about this. So scrubbing that business owner from the get-go and asking the questions from this presentation are super, super crucial before even lending your money to somebody, right? You would do the same thing in real estate. Like, hey, what would happen if the property management company started charging more for parts and labor and all sorts of things with this apartment complex? You'd be concerned about that from the get-go. Though in a multifamily deal, your capital is locked up for 5 to 7 years. Here, generally is not the case. So you have more push than you think in negotiating terms for your money. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
Awesome. Thank you, Abhi. So guys, keep throwing your questions in there. I'll be happy to address them. He's also got his email up if you want to throw him an email, talk specifics about anything. But Abhi, I really appreciate you coming out. I honestly, this is one thing I like about alternative asset investing, right? It's that how creative you can get and all the different avenues that you have to explore with things that you otherwise kind of wouldn't have thought of, right? And so that's why I'm really glad we went down this road today.
Yeah, no, likewise. I'm happy. I'm trying to see if I could pull a quick P&L to show you guys. I don't know if that would be helpful in any capacity, but I'll just show you what I look at when I'm investing in a business.
Yeah. And so Richard had a question as well, saying, can you share your ideas or best practices on finding approachable, i.e. willing business owners?
Yes. Give me a second. I'm just making a copy of the P&L just so I can show you guys. Ooh, this is going to be, this is going to be good. All right. I'm excited. All right. So Richard, to answer your question, can you share ideas or best practices on finding approachable, willing business owners? Yeah. I mean, you could do a LinkedIn search. Do a LinkedIn search for a business that is 1 to 10 employees, that's been around for the last 3 to 5 years, and just have a conversation with them and see, hey, are you looking to grow? How are you growing? What industry are you in? Are you looking for additional capital? Most of the time, they don't really know that they can take advantage of different lines of credit, and many business owners fail to apply for lines of credit, and they don't really know how to utilize it once they have it. One of my portfolio businesses just got approved for, I don't know, a $500,000 line with Bank of America, but it took 45 days to get there. And a $500,000 line is pretty small. We don't even actually need it. But more often than not, that's just capital. What many business owners are looking for, especially those that want to sell, is a strategic partner that can help them grow. So you have one of two options. The first option you have is do not invest in an active deal that you're currently participating in. So by approaching them and saying, what are your objectives? And working with them on their business. Again, not with your IRA. You individually are working with them in their business. You can even get paid as a consultant probably. And now that you know the business, you can start identifying acquisition targets with that business owner and deploy your IRA capital into that acquisition, which you're not a part of. Again, active, passive, right? Active, passive, active, passive. I use LinkedIn. I use a network of business brokers, and there's a company called zoominfo.com. They will provide you data of businesses that want to sell based on search intent. That data will cost about $30,000 a year. I think, depending on the package you get. What you want to get is the intent feature, and the intent feature will give you, oh my God, everything. If you're a business owner across any industry and you are at your computer on Google typing in succession planning, it will identify you as the business owner, the last time you searched for that word succession planning, your name, work email, personal email, and cell phone number. Isn't that scary? So now I can say, hey, Zach, I noticed that you were, maybe you don't want to get too big brother creepy. Yeah. You know what I mean? But you could technically say, hey, are you interested in selling your business? Are you interested in any kind of succession planning? I found a lot of opportunity. Guys, I keep saying this. I don't know why nobody's picking up on this. Dental practices. Okay, do you see that? Dental practices are hot. Hot right now. urgent care centers, emergency veterinary clinics. And these are all like recession-proof businesses. On average, what I found is dental practices during COVID were closed for less than 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So dental practices, like I'm buying dental practices right now. I love dental. I love these healthcare businesses. Anyway, Richard, that's a very long-winded answer to your question. I get passionate about things, and I'll also derail the conversations. You guys want to see a quick P&L?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Cool. Lisa says, in Texas, to own that business. Hold on. In Texas, if you want to own a dental practice, you have to be practicing. Incorrect. You have to maintain a license. You don't necessarily have to practice, but you need to be a dental doctor of record, and that's just legal paperwork. So I'm looking at acquiring, two practices in Texas, but there's a very specific ownership model there. I'm not a dentist, right? Like, obviously, look at my hair. I'm a mess. I don't know. And by the way, if you guys have like hair product suggestions, please, for the love of God, help me. I'm in dire need of hair product for long hair. So I don't know, maybe the women in the group can help. So if you are in Texas, what you can do is you've got the operating, the clinical management arm and the clinical services arm. So your management arm you can own, and your operation arm, whether you're actually providing medical, dental care, that has to 100% be owned by the dentist. But I can manage everything, and the management arm can own the rest of the business ops, if you will. So this is the point of care business ops. If I own the business ops, and this is like the exclusive provider for this operation, for this dental operation, then I don't have to be a dentist. To set that up is anywhere between $75,000 and $100,000 in legal fees. So I'm like, yeah, let's go do that, because there's an opportunity. Again, I want to get to 10 million in top line revenue in dental practices. And then I can sell that for a very high multiple, especially with the technology that I'm building in. Yes, I will partner with a dentist for a zoomed out version of what I described. Yes. Okay, let me show you P&L, and then I will. Then I'll go, because Zach's like, we're tired of hearing you.
I enjoy this one. This is actually one of the lesser known ones I've ever been on. You know, there's a lot of real estate ones that I get on. So I've been.
Yeah, I mean, you do real estate all the time. Real estate's boring. It's slow. It's boring. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to get. You invest in real estate for the depreciation. I get that, right? Like depreciation and year one, that helps. It helps to offset passive income, But home price appreciation, if you're a long-term investor, 8 to 12, 13% year over year, and you would cash flow $200 to $300 a month on a single family rental. So times, like, how many do you want to buy? That's kind of a headache. I'd rather buy a business and just get a passive income from the business of like $50,000 to $30,000 a year. Richard, how practical is creating syndication of limited partners? That's a waste of time. I wouldn't do that. I would probably, well, it depends on, I don't think you need to give up that much in equity to investors. I think investors are very, very expensive, obviously. Like, you can go to the SBA up to, I think, $5 million. That's the case. Up to $5 million, you can qualify to go acquire a business, and you would only have to put down 10%. And if the business debt service, the business can service the debt, which it can, and it will, because I'm going to offer that order of operations course to everybody here for free. If you would like. I think I was getting sidetracked, and I totally forgot to talk about the offer. This is what happens. So the order of operations course is going to be free for you guys. Just email me and I'll make sure you guys get it. It's going to be freaking awesome, because I'm awesome and I'm doing it. Look at that. It's a very egocentric comment. But Richard, yeah. So for $350,000 to go buy a business for 3.5 million, I don't think you need to raise 3.5 million and then be I suppose in bed with 350. What is that? 3.5 million divided by 10. Like, 10 investors at $3.5 million. I don't know, or 10 investors at $350,000. And then you have to do a dog and pony show. This is what happens. Okay. Then you have to do a dog and pony show with 10 investors around the country because they have $350,000 locked up with you. That's annoying, right? Like I'd rather be on the beach, not have that liability, not have to split the profit 10 ways, maybe, and then you have to give them equity. Like you don't want to do that. All right, here, let me show you the P&L.
I'll go ahead and bring it down. I'll go bring down this. If you just want to share your screen.
Yep. Hold on. Okay. You know what's happening right now? It's saying Chrome has lost permission to capture your screen. To fix it, go to System Preferences. So hold on. I'm going to try this one more time. If I can't do this, I will send everybody a copy of. Yeah, it's not working. Okay. Right. I will just send everybody a copy or like a little video training tutorial of the P&L that I was going to show you guys. And there you go.
Right. So I'll just have them. All right. So guys, just reach out to Abhi at the email that's listed on the screen right now. Abhi, thank you so much for coming out. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
See ya.